Thank you, honey. It's much appreciated. The camera operation. I like how everyone's just kind of like in position still. It's great.
I'm just gonna go play Harvest Moon.
Okay, that's fine, honey. I love you.
This will definitely be in the room.
Oh yeah. But I guess this is what we'll pretend to be official, and we'll be like 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. It's Merlin here, and we're doing a movie review of a movie came out recently today, and I've got some guests with me you've probably seen before.
As recent as you can get.
It's about as recent as you can get. I mean, this is early morning now, but it's Gimli here. We got Dickie.
Hello.
And all right, I didn't originally want to see Rise of Skywalker opening night, but I was like, I don't know what my plans are going to be like for the next week, so.
There was nobody there. That
Yeah.
was so bizarre.
They had the lines all set up, but I did ask the guard walking in. He's like, yeah, it was crazy at 6, but he said this one's dead.
Yeah, they staggered it with a lot of different showings, I guess, because they figured to be busy, and there have been a lot of rumors that this movie is kind of like one of the least anticipated Star Wars movies in a long time, if maybe ever.
How many people would you say were in the theater?
We went at
Total?
10, like 10 o'clock and
15,
20 people.
20 tops.
Maybe, including us. So it was not a packed house, and for an opening night of one of the biggest movies franchises ever,
Yeah.
that's still not great. So
Going into basically Christmas weekend.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Most people will have off tomorrow for Friday.
yeah, and like all the college kids are off, so it's like yeah, that was an indication. Well, we'll just do a quick spoiler-free section here. Generally, how did you feel about the movie? No grades or anything yet, just a couple sentences. What are you feeling right now? Maybe discussion will change it. Who knows?
Really, really boring at first. Probably the first 3/4 of the movie. I was probably thinking of walking out.
Yeah, I mean, if I had my car with me and I didn't rely on Merlin and give me a ride, I probably would have joined Gimli.
Yeah, Honey Lemon is what she is known as in the
And
magical
Honey Lemon.
lands.
We'll sub it.
Now I have to edit it. Now I have to edit it now, because there's secret like pseudonyms and whatnot.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I'm gonna be the nice one this video because
Yeah.
you guys are like not feeling it. I had some good moments. I actually did enjoy pieces of it. I thought there were definitely good parts, but there were some really big problems I think with the script and with the pacing and I wasn't as bored as they were, but there were points where I'm like I didn't really care about what was going on some of the time. Like stuff was happening, I just didn't really care.
Yeah.
So generally that's how we feel. I guess so. Now we're going to talk about it, and spoilers might happen. So spoilers from here on in. All right. Do we want to talk about positives first to get them out of the way? Because I guess there are fewer, or do we want to get negatives out of the way?
I mean, I think we should start
We'll
on a
do
positive
positive
note.
note.
Yeah.
All right, well then-
because it'll just go downhill then.
I know. I sense that it will.
Quickly.
It's good. So I think that's mostly what it's going to be. But all right, Gimli, we'll start with you. What are some positives that stuck out? What did you like about the movie?
Overall, the filming of it, I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I always go off of this now ever since Green Lantern, but I could see stuff, so that's always a positive thing.
The lighting.
The
Decent
lighting was good. Acting was good,
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
What about relating to the plot
yeah.
of like the Star Wars itself? Or
Plot-wise,
all right, so
it ties stuff up,
okay.
which needed Donna.
Okay, that's so from Gimli we have it was pretty well put together and shot, and the acting was pretty good.
Yeah.
As the major positives for you.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, Dickie, how about you?
Um,
What's your interpretation of positive?
I am not a longtime fan of the Star Wars franchise. I've really only ever been exposed to Episode 3 Rogue One Solo, which I watched.
Oh.
And this newest trilogy, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, which the naming conventions are just terrible.
They've always
We
kind of
just-
been that way.
They
They're awful.
probably just-
They're awful.
They typed in a whole bunch of words and just randomized it and just probably said, okay, this one sounds
It's
the best."
always
Yeah.
it's always verb of the noun. It's always verb of the noun. Every movie.
So I mean I don't have the same sort of nostalgia or the same love affinity for the series, for the franchise that these guys do.
For Warstar.
But I think that it was a movie that was definitely trying to pick up the slack of the last two movies. I don't think it did a very good job at that, but I think it was trying to do that, and I appreciate the effort. But I don't know. I feel like these, as a whole, I feel like this last trilogy just was way too disjointed to ever really be coherent, because you had JJ and then you had Ryan Johnson and then JJ again, and it's handing back and forth this story that's supposed to span 3 movies and span 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. And the middle of it, arguably the most important part of any story, the actual story, is handed over to somebody else, and you've got this weird relationship between the second movie in the trilogy and the first one, where the second one is trying very, very strongly to distance itself from the beginning of the trilogy. Its literal tagline was "Kill the
Let the past die.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to." And it does a very direct.
Star Wars
call
will
out.
be new now. We'll do different things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm supposed to be talking about the positive.
I think that's telling. That's telling.
I mean, it is technically well put together.
The Star Wars movies generally, typically.
Yeah, they look pretty alright. I didn't like the choreography of the lightsaber fights.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I thought the
It's
lightsaber
positive.
boring.
Positive notes
Okay,
first.
okay. Let me say a few positives. Then we'll
Please,
go
yes.
on. Right. All right. Positives. I can't think of everything off the top of the bat. I'm sure I'll do. There were, of course, lots of little nostalgic callbacks. Little things here and there. Spoilers. Pretty much everybody in the old guard dies finally, but there's lots of cameos. I like they worked that in. Chewie finally gets the medal.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. All the fans joke about how he never got the medal in New Hope. He kind of does, and I like the way they did that. C-3PO has a lot to do in this movie. He had nothing to do in the last two.
Yeah.
I like C-3PO, so his humor was appreciated. He made me laugh. He always does, commenting on how ridiculous everything is. And I liked how thematically they were doing their best to tie things together. A lot of it feels very rushed and disjointed and bad, but I like the theme of challenging the past and making your own destiny. And I kind of liked how they resolved that with Rey, even though it's kind of predictable. It's still the same general idea of Star Wars. I still liked how the arc resolved, even with Kylo Ren. Even though I don't like the character, I did like how they resolved his
liked
arc.
how it ended with that.
Still felt like it should have been built up more in the previous movies.
Yeah.
But I felt like there was more writing for everyone. I liked that they tried to give people arcs, tried to give Poe an arc, and Finn felt like actually more fleshed out finally.
Yeah.
I liked that. Of course, special effects are pretty good. I didn't like the lightsaber battles that much. But even though it wasn't, maybe not written particularly well and goes into safe territory again, I did like the fact that they brought back my favorite villain, Palpatine, the super evil, over-the-top, dark wizard guy, Sith Lord. I'm sorry, I love Ian McDermott, I love the over-the-top. You will strike me down. He's always my favorite. So, was it dumb and lazy that, of course, he was behind everything again and they tied him in to, bring us back into safe nostalgia? Yes, but he was like the only thing I was excited for. Just like everything else about Star Wars. So, I guess I'm not going to apologize too much for that, but he was the main thing I was excited about. And I will say, I thought he had some pretty cool moments.
Yes.
They did make
absolutely.
him. They did make him
Yeah.
intimidating, but like everything else in this movie,
He actually sounded creepy.
menacing too.
Yeah.
Like
Menacing and creepy.
in the older ones, in the prequels and in Return of the Jedi, he was creepy and menacing. But this time, with the power,
You could
he felt
actually sort of felt that.
like you felt the power he had, and he was really intimidating. I liked that. But I was gonna say though, like pretty much everything else in this movie, I would have liked a little more of him. He felt a little underused, a little underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like
For being the driving force of the
everything.
Of the villain.
Like he definitely felt very on the back burner, and
Yeah.
and it felt like he let the movie happen,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah, well, that's the way Palpatine always is, though. I know he's always like, you haven't seen the prequels, so his plans are always convoluted. You're like, what the heck is he doing? Everything is going according to my plan. So you could easily say that, but I feel like they were trying to work it in and make this trilogy the wrapping up with the Skywalker story, but it didn't really need to be. We're just saying that now to keep things nostalgic again and not establish our new characters and make them whole again and care about them, which I think is one of the big problems. But even so, they're like, sure, oh yeah, it was about, the guy that was behind everything, the main villain of the previous 6, instead of making this his own thing with Snoke, who was basically the same thing, but not, we're just going to make it Palpatine again. So, like I said, lazy, predictable, but I still liked what I got. It got what I expected pretty much, so I liked that. Was that still positives?
yeah.
Okay. But even
overall,
more
with, so than what's coming up.
but even with my positives, you see that it was still laid with asterisks and like,
Yeah.
And my other favorite little thing, I like the fact that with Rey, with the Force, they showed a different side of the Force about healing and about not always attacking first, like with the snake, and even with dealing with the one bounty hunter rebel lady they encounter. You know, what the Jedi typically do, and trying to make friends as opposed to going gun.
lethal and men friends.
Yeah, like try and show that. We don't see much of that in Star Wars, and that's what the Jedi are supposed to represent. So I liked that side of it.
Oh, you're forgetting the best part. They got Samuel L. Jackson to record a single line.
Yeah, the when she's getting all the Jedi calling out to saying, "You can do it, Rey." The Shonen power up, whatever. And everybody. I think Frank Oz, Yoda, I think recorded some new lines, and I couldn't tell everyone in there, but Samuel L. Jackson, I distinctly heard Mace Windu say like, "The Force will be with you" or whatever. And I'm like, that's awesome. He came back to do a line. Oh, and Harrison Ford came back.
Yep.
Yeah.
That surprised me.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. I mean, he was a little CGI'd or something, but he recorded some new stuff, and I was like, that's cool.
I was very surprised by that.
But even though I liked some things about the movie, I still think it's a mess. So I'd like us to talk about all the stuff that we don't like. Give me, please. I want to hear yours. And please. Yours are always the best because they're always like so nitpicky and petty.
So.
But your prediction was right, basically. Your prediction was right.
So.
This is the thing.
I know that you looked at me when they first.
When they
said,
revealed this.
What?
What are they up to now? What's the First Order up to now? What's the Empire up to this time? What's their new plan?
Killing guns on Star Destroyers. And I just like this.
So Death Star guns on Star Destroyers. So now, how there? It's like, so that means there's just 100 billion Star Destroyers flying around with Death Star capabilities.
That was pretty much my reaction to seeing and hearing that.
At least it wasn't another Death Star.
No.
That's true.
It's not, but
But they
still-
did sneak it in.
But it still is kind of another Death Star.
No, they put the Death Star in the movie. There was still a Death Star.
there was still Death Star in there.
So if you like
in
that,
pieces, but in there.
if you like it, it's there.
Apparently, they don't know how physics work either
No.
very well. Especially, I'm pretty sure they have some sort of space expansion technology on the Death Star.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't an elevator that she
No.
walked into.
I don't know what that was.
I'm pretty sure that was just a room, and the way that you could tell, there were 2 distinct windows and not enough space there.
Yeah, the layout of the Death Star was odd.
I still don't like the way that with I don't even know how. What's that? The force bond between Rey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
apparently
it's
they
very
can, like,
strange.
Apparently, you can transfer matter through time and space.
I thought that was just a dream thing, but no. Apparently, they can actually like give each other stuff. And that's new.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah, because it starts off with Kylo Ren
Yeah.
grabbing the necklace off of Rey.
I was like, is that a mistake
like,
or what?
No.
Yeah.
And then like the old naval people were like, yeah, and I'm like, what?
Then you get dual wield lightsabers. Huh?
At least we have dual lightsabers again. Not for very long, but
Yeah.
it's there.
Gotta put the wheel.
Oh, another positive note. A lightsaber other than red, blue,
Oh
Or
yeah.
and green.
Yeah,
we
colors.
have yellow now.
We got yellow now.
It's in the official.
Yeah,
It's in the canon.
It's in the movies now. Finally,
A
like
yellow lightsaber.
so. Yeah,
Only took 9 movies.
And
No,
it
it took-
didn't use a button.
yeah.
I don't know
yeah,
if you guys noticed that. It used a
turned.
little dial.
Oh, no button this
Yeah,
time.
no button.
So that was positive.
Cool.
Let's see. Yeah, I read 3/4 of the movie in the beginning. I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah, and
The plot was there, just wasn't entertaining. Like, yeah, they had little action scenes all throughout that.
That's all it was, though.
But it was just small action all throughout. There was not really
Quiet moments for characters to
Yeah.
talk more. Yeah.
like there was, but it wasn't at a point where it was like you didn't feel engaged in
Yeah, there were no
actually
stakes.
what it was going on.
It felt like they were trying to emulate Infinity War by setting an absolute.
Just action pacing the whole movie.
Well, and not even that. It felt like they tried to set the stakes right off the bat.
Yeah.
By saying, just coming straight out and saying, like, hey, we just got a message from a spy in the
Yeah.
First Order. Palpatine's back. We got 16 hours.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the whole of the galaxy is destroyed.
Yeah, I feel
And-
like that should have been a reveal maybe within the movie or something, but I guess people already knew from the trailer. It felt for the title scroll was very
Though,
blatant.
For me, I tried to limit the amount of trailers that I saw going into this.
Mm.
So I think in total, I only saw maybe 2 different trailers total.
It's okay. The trailers didn't reveal too much. I think they
No.
wanted to keep most of it hush hush anyway.
And even then, when I did see them, it was more or less just like no audio too. So,
Oh, okay.
let's see. Any other?
Big ones.
I'm pretty sure it probably took longer than 16 hours, or whatever time limit they gave.
It did feel like it took a couple days at least.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that space travel isn't instantaneous like the show in the movie.
Oh, with the Falcon?
Well, just in general, like it's like oh,
Or here.
it
Or
just-
here.
like,
Yeah. It has
No.
a very Game
Yeah.
of Thrones problem in the end.
Because
Yeah,
in
really
the
quickly.
earlier movies, they actually like oh yeah, it's going to take some time to get there.
They'll be on the ship going there, talking in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, it just felt there.
Yeah.
Like there was no dialogue on the ship, which I think would have helped. Yeah.
I wish Rey used the lightning more.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's a dark side thing, so you want to try to avoid
So,
I don't know.
that.
okay, how do you guys feel about finding out that
Oh.
she's the granddaughter of Palpatine?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you if you didn't get to it, because that's kind of the big twist, which is
Yeah.
kind of a theory that people sort of had anyway. It's like, okay, well, she's got to be related to somebody. And I thought, well, I knew it was going to be something related to Palpatine. Like, okay, he either had plans for her or like stole it from her parents or a clone of him or something. I didn't think they were going to say directly related
Yeah.
granddaughter thing.
Which is strange because, like, wasn't Anakin... I don't know if this is canon or not, I haven't seen the prequels.
Yeah, okay.
But it's heavily implied that Anakin is the spawn of Palpatine, right?
No, Anakin.
More of just like
He's
the Force.
the Force created.
Okay.
He's a Messiah figure. He didn't have a
Yeah.
father. So no.
But there's also the whole Darth Plagueis the Wise, like,
Well, that's the thing, which I thought made
which
sense.
is the insinuation.
Which we talked about, like they kind of imply they were taking things from the clone stuff in the comics,
Yeah.
and Snoke might have been a clone. They don't really say that, but they heavily imply it with what they show, and they even say he made him, but they don't say how. They don't go into any of that.
You did see the tanks of
The Snokes.
Snoke's.
So yeah, I mean, but they didn't really go into it. I guess they figured people assumed that. But Darth Plagueis and Sidious's whole thing was, learning to use the Force to create life, be immortal, all
Yeah.
that. So maybe Rey could have been a result of that experiment. But instead, they just went for a direct lineage,
Yeah.
which thematically is interesting. Sure,
Yeah.
like, okay, how do I deal with this? Is this the father thing?
Personally, I would have never thought that as Palpatine would actually,
That's
have
that's
a child.
that's my only real
Yeah.
problem with it, because it wasn't established anywhere in the prequels. He was like a whole politician.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an old man by then, but like
still.
this evil Sith Lord guy who was just obsessed with power and political manipulation had a family?
Like,
Yeah.
What? That was never mentioned at all in anything ever?
yeah.
And even at that point, it doesn't necessarily need to be that he had a family. It just needs to be something like Mad Max Fury Road, where he's got a brood of women that have babies
Yeah,
for him.
maybe he did try to implant. Yeah,
But-
sure.
What we're shown in the film is that
They knew.
Rey's parents
Knew that
were
they were.
free. They were like
Yeah,
freely
Living their
roaming.
lives. So like Palpatine didn't care about what his. Which one was his mother? Was his mother? What did they say?
Father.
Okay, didn't care that his father and his son and his wife were running around like while he was taking over the like he became Darth Sidious. He
Yeah.
became the Emperor in that point. Like, I guess they were on the run then, but he didn't plan for that. And he's like, wouldn't he keep better tabs on him, because he's always planning everything.
Yeah.
So like that was.
Is it just like he had a wife for somebody before politics?
And even so, I'm
But-
not saying maybe he turned to the dark side. He's such an evil guy who just
But even
he
then,
seems above that sort of
what's
thing.
what's the probability of it? Because
The probability.
the prequels are 20 years before the original trilogy,
Yeah,
and the original trilogy is set
Oh.
like 20 years
the ages.
before.
Yeah.
So and they
This
were,
trilogy.
and we saw them. They were pretty young parents.
Yeah.
So when did he have these kids? In between the movies, when he was like, maybe when he was all crusty and all. Is that when?
This attempt on my life has left me horribly disfigured.
Yeah, but I'm
That
gonna get some
and
booty afterwards.
that and
Really?
Palpatine's son or child obviously knew that he was related to Palpatine.
Yeah,
Yeah, he knew it.
Like-
The blast name, blatant, and it's weak. It's
Yeah.
weak.
it is.
It's really
such
weak.
It feels like such a
Like,
reach.
which is why I'm like, just say you were trying to clone her and it was one of your experiments that got away. It makes more sense.
Or
And-
just
Why wait for
random.
the grand? Why wait for the second generation? Why wait for the grandchild?
Well, he had so many plans. He had his Snokes, which were failed clones, or maybe not, just subsidiaries to hide his stuff. And then he had also these other Sidiouses who we never actually see, but it's obviously clones that are just thousands of them who do nothing in the final battle. They're just like, oh, like, what are you doing? What are they doing?
Yeah.
They're a bunch of Sidious clones. That's what they are. They're not going to say it, but that's what they
Yeah.
were. What were? So how many plans did he? And his plan was, oh, okay, I'm going to have her complete the Sith ritual, kill me and hate, can be inherit my empire, and this is the legacy of the Sith. But if that doesn't work, I'll just steal her and Kylo Ren's power because their unity is like the ultimate Force thing. I'm like, that guy's always. How many times is it according to plan? Is what I want to know. That was actually my plan.
like how like does
Just rolls with it, I
Palpatine ever actually have a plan?
I think he just rolls with it. I think it's like
Absolutely.
because he was surprised by that. Your powers together is like the ultimate thing. I'll just use this and I'll be the Sith leader again. Ha ha ha. Like,
Which I will say,
Sure.
it's good to see him as an active antagonist.
Yes.
yeah, he's not like.
From my understanding, he has always sent other people to do his bidding.
Yeah.
Generally, yeah.
I watched a comprehensive review of the prequels recently by Cosmonaut Marcus.
Oh, Cosmonaut.
And there's a line that sticks out to me about, I think, the second movie in the prequel trilogy.
I
Might
think
have-
it's blinking, so let's do letter grades quick and
I can power up the battery if you want.
I don't know how much time we actually have left.
I can plug
Yeah,
it in.
that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, we'll wrap it up.
Yes.
But letter grades.
I'm gonna say a D minus.
Oh shit.
Oh,
It's not.
I was gonna. It's right in between C plus and B minus for me.
I'm going C plus.
So yeah, probably C plus for all.
All right. So, quite a mess.
Yeah.
John Dickey did not like it
I
at
didn't
all.
like it. There's a lot wrong with it.
Yeah.
And
But-
there'll probably be a second part of this video at some point once maybe some of the other people. Watch
Yeah,
it.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe other people will chime in on their opinions, you know. But yeah, it was a very very mixed bag. Very mixed bag.
Yeah.
Quite a messy one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say stay magical.
Yeah.
And may the force be with you
Yes.
always.
And then the other Star Wars movies.
Certainly was not with this one.
Oh,
No.
so many writers. 4 writers.
4 writers.
4 writers.
Couldn't save it.
They tried though.
They tried. This is the way.